Indiana Jones is in the MVP discussion, don't you?
And that's crazy. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how Daniel Jones is playing on.
And the number one story of the weekend, you guessed it, best team in ball is right here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Danny Dimes, only guy to do everything that he's done and not have a turnover. The Colts, the only team to ever do what they've done and not have a turnover. The percentage of scoring drives higher than anybody that's ever played ball. Only having one punt through 3 full games of NFL action is better than everybody that's ever done it before.
That I will. That said, though, it's about Daniel Jones doing what he's doing for the Indianapolis Colts. And what he's doing for the Indianapolis Colts is quite simply something we've never seen from the Colts at the quarterback position.
Daniel Jones is back. The same quarterback who was laughed out of New York and written off as a draft bust is now torching defenses in Indianapolis. Multiple 30-point outings, blowout wins, and suddenly, the Colts look like a powerhouse. But here's the scary truth. Daniel Jones may never have been the problem at all. Maybe the Giants were. And if that's the case, what does it say about one of the NFL's most mismanaged franchises? Daniel Jones was the unlikeliest of saviors for the Indianapolis Colts. In fact, to many, he was merely brought in to try and light a fire underneath 2023 first-rounder Anthony Richardson. General manager Chris Ballard was confident that he had built a well-rounded and competitive roster, but between Richardson's sub-50% completion rate in 2024, the persistent injuries, and the infamous tap-out, it was time to open the door to an alternative option. The former New York Giants quarterback, Daniel Jones, was that man. And to say it was an underwhelming option would be an understatement, with Jones producing just one winning season in his 6 in New York. He was eventually discarded after tossing 10 touchdowns and 13 interceptions over his final 2 years there, which also saw him spend significant time on the sidelines due to injury. As I said, it wasn't exactly the most exciting of signings. However, it wasn't all bad for Daniel Jones in New York. Back in 2022, Jones put together a very tidy season in which he completed 67% of his passes for 3,205 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. This went very nicely with a career-high 708 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground, showing off the ceiling of a very dangerous dual-threat quarterback. With this version of Jones, the Giants posted a 9-7-1 record, which was enough to earn them a playoff appearance. Then, against all the odds, Jones and the Giants were spectacular in the wildcard round, topping the Minnesota Vikings by 31 points to 24, with Jones completing 68% of his passes for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, while adding 78 yards on the ground. It may have only been one season, but this certainly did look like a quarterback worthy of going 6th overall in the draft, as Jones had in 2019. It was this standout season for Jones that encouraged Chris Ballard to give him a shot. The Colts general manager was clearly hopeful that the disappointing play from Jones in 2023 and 2024 was more a reflection of the situation around him rather than Jones himself. Not to mention the ACL tear that restricted him to just 6 games in 2023, which we often see players take a long time to recover from. So far, in 2025, it looks like Ballard's calculations might have been right on the money. Daniel Jones was regularly reported as the most competent Colts quarterback throughout the offseason, and nothing changed when preseason games rolled around. The team liked the professionalism with which he approached the role, his understanding of the offense, and his ability to take the safe, easy option, something that never seemed to click for Richardson. There's no two ways about it. Daniel Jones is the man responsible for Anthony Richardson's benching. Then, when the pressure of the regular season arrived, Jones somehow found an entirely new level. Yes, it is undeniable that Jones has a much better arsenal of weapons to utilize in Indianapolis than he did in New York, which I will come on to shortly. But first, we need to talk about coaching. That is surely the biggest variable between the two situations. In New York, Jones lacked confidence and looked like he wasn't entirely sure what the plan was. He was confused and mistake-prone, constantly frustrating the fan base because of his apparent fear of pulling the trigger. He didn't trust the coaching staff or the guys around him, and the result was a clunky and often unwatchable offensive output. He looked completely incapable of winning games, which, to be fair, is a good summary of how those final 2 years went in New York, with Jones going a combined 3-13 as a starter between 2023 and 2024. This new version, in Indianapolis, couldn't be more different. With competent coaching and an admittedly much better offense around him, Jones looks truly in command. He is showing complete faith in his coaches and teammates, and they have complete faith in him. And they absolutely should. He is clinical and decisive as a passer, easily dissecting defenses and putting the ball on the money time and time again. There is seemingly such little hesitation to his game, which was a massive problem throughout his decline in New York. Head coach Shane Steichen earned the role because of his impressive play calling ability, and he's finally able to show that in Indy with Jones. He is scheming receivers wide open for him, and Jones is actually hitting them in stride, which rarely happened with Richardson. Yes, the Indianapolis Colts have a ton of playmakers who can quickly get open and turn short passes into big plays, but that's not the only way in which Danny Dimes is moving the ball. He is also being aggressive, sending the ball down the field, and doing so with a level of efficiency that justifies his nickname. By the 3rd week of the season, Danny Dimes was completing 65% of passes that traveled at least 10 yards downfield. Similarly, over those first 3 games, Jones averaged a 71.6% completion rate, resulting in offensive outputs of 33 points in week 1, 29 points in week 2, and 41 points in week 3. Over that stretch, the Colts punted just 1 time. I think it is fair to say that nobody was expecting this from either Daniel Jones or the Indianapolis Colts. In fact, to emphasize just how outrageous and unexpected this start to the season has been, the 103 points that Indy scored over the first 3 games are more than any Peyton Manning-led Colts team ever managed. So, Daniel Jones for the Hall of Fame? I'm joking, of course, but this incredible start to the season certainly does make us question everything. Is this the true version of Daniel Jones? Was he completely wasted in New York? And what would have happened there had the coaching staff been different? Because we can confidently say that we never saw this version of Jones as a Giant, even in the season in which he led them to the playoffs. Shane Steichen really has delivered a coaching masterclass and embarrassed the people responsible for getting Jones going in New York. After being on the hot seat over the offseason, Steichen looks great right now, and some of the biggest analysts around are noticing.
Yeah, well, I really felt like what Shane Steichen likes to do, a lot of RPOs, a lot of movement of the quarterback, kind of the pure progression read type stuff. I thought it really fit Daniel Jones well. He's a mobile quarterback. He does a nice job with the RPOs and reading that stuff. But he's just playing really good football right now. He looks very comfortable in their system.
Kurt Warner, of course, sums it up there very well. Steichen is perfectly playing into his quarterback's strengths, making life as easy as possible for him. He is utilizing Jones's mobility and running a ton of bootlegs and play action, which confuses the defense and sets up favorable passing conditions. Then, on top of the confused defense and elite play calling, Jones benefits from a superb array of weapons. Jonathan Taylor is truly one of the best at his position, leading the league in rushing yards. Then, the wide receiver room is a brilliant mix of different skill sets. Michael Pittman is the reliable possession receiver, signed to a big $71.5 million deal in 2024 after a fantastic 1,152-yard season, in which he was always moving the chains for his team. Next to him, you have Alec Pierce as one of the most talented deep threats in the NFL, who led this team in receiving yards in 2024. Josh Downs wasn't far behind with 803 yards for himself in just 14 games, operating as one of the shiftiest slot receivers in the NFL. Those 3 alone are a fantastic trio, but the fun doesn't stop there. Adonai Mitchell is a raw prospect, but his route running ability is undeniable, offering a very enticing outside threat with huge upside. But the most exciting of the lot is first-round rookie tight end Tyler Warren. This guy was a truly rare prospect coming out of college, impacting the game in so many different ways for the Penn State Nittany Lions. He really was the ultimate Swiss Army knife, collecting 1,233 yards and 8 touchdowns as a receiver, and 218 yards and 4 touchdowns as a rusher. He is a physical weapon who seeks out contact and is difficult to bring down, and he has completely lived up to the hype as a pro. He topped 70 yards in both of his first 2 games, including a Week 2 clash against a Denver Broncos defense that was expected to be one of the very best this year. It's clear that his physicality is translating to the NFL just fine, and he is a perfect weapon for Daniel Jones, who can easily get the ball out to him quickly and then pick up plenty of yards after the catch. This threat of Tyler Warren and Josh Downs on quick passes, and Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce downfield, means that Daniel Jones has enticing targets at every level. For defenses, trying to keep a lid on all of them is essentially impossible, and if you decide to double up on one, you bet that the rest will kill you. On top of that, if defenses dedicate too much attention to the passing game, Jonathan Taylor will gladly take advantage of light boxes and destroy you on the ground. And to that point, one of the reasons Taylor is so dangerous is because of how committed his teammates are to blocking for him. These receivers are not only a menace through the air, but they are also impacting the run game. No play summed that up more than this epic Tyler Warren block in Week 3.
Watch 84, bam! Right there on Barton, and then the rest was just Jonathan Taylor.
Whatever way you look at it, this Indianapolis Colts offense is absolutely loaded. Their strong start to the season is no fluke. From the loaded offensive line to the versatile and talented pass-catching room and the superstar running back, there are game changers all over. They are undoubtedly a big reason why Jones has been able to shock us all this season. However, that by no means we should underestimate just how good Dimes has been. Remember, this is the same cohort of talent that Anthony Richardson played with in 2024. And how did that go? The team missed the playoffs for the 4th year running, with a losing record. The offense, which was led by Anthony Richardson for most of the season, ranked 17th in the NFL, averaging 22 points per game. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, and Adonai Mitchell were all present for the vast majority of that 2024 campaign, but were let down by their quarterback, who averaged a completion rate of just 47.7% over the 11 games he was allowed to start. With that same supporting cast, plus first-round rookie Tyler Warren, Daniel Jones has produced entirely different results. In many ways, it looks like they are playing an entirely different sport, and Colts fans are incredibly grateful for it. It really has been a sensational start to the season for these Indianapolis Colts, and Daniel Jones truly does look like he is going to be the next dramatic Reclamation story, joining the likes of Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold. The early results in this 2025 season have got Indianapolis Colts fans in absolute dreamland. However, in contrast, Giants fans, and not for the first time, are seriously questioning what is going on behind the scenes with their team. Jones showed flashes in New York, but nothing close to the consistency and quality we are seeing in Indianapolis. It is a damning outcome for the coaches in New York, who may well have wasted what appears to be a very talented quarterback. As they look set for another losing season, they will be wondering what if, as Daniel Jones leads his Colts on what will surely be a deep playoff run. The Colts have got to be heavy favorites in the division considering the shaky starts for Houston and Jacksonville. It's been over a decade since their last AFC South title, but Colts fans are surely believing now. So, here's the scary truth. Daniel Jones didn't suddenly transform. He was always capable of this. He just needed the right coaching, the right roster, and the right belief. Now, in Indianapolis, he looks like the quarterback New York always hoped for, and the Colts look like a team nobody wants to face in January. But what do you think? Is this the real Daniel Jones at last? Or just another mirage? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more NFL content just like this.